I want to bring in the Los Angeles District Attorney who made this decision, Nathan Hochman. DA Hochman, thank you so much for joining Top Story. I want to start with your decision, right? You asked the court to withdraw the motion to resentence the Menendez brothers. You said that you would reconsider a, quote, pathway if they accept responsibility. Can you explain more about your decision and more about what your office claims are, quote, lies and efforts to undermine the truth-seeking function of their juries?
So the resentencing motion was actually on two different paths. The court had filed its own motion to go forward with resentencing, and we have said we're prepared to go forward with that motion. My predecessor filed a district attorney motion, and that motion did not consider whether or not Erik and Lyle Menendez have exhibited full insight into their crimes and completely accepted responsibility for the full breadth of their criminal actions. What we pointed out in an over 87-page filing is that when it came to self-defense, the defense where they said, in essence, that they believed their parents were going to kill them the night of August 20th, 1989, when they murdered them with 12 shotgun blasts to the face, to the back of the head, and through the kneecaps to stage it like a mafia killing. We said that they have not ever accepted in over 30 years the fact that that self-defense was a lie. They also suborned perjury and attempted to suborn perjury from various ones of their girlfriends and friends, where they tried to paint Jose as a violent rapist. They said the mother had tried to poison the family. They even tried to bolster the self-defense by saying to one of their friends that you tried to give us a gun the day before we killed our parents. To this date, there are 20 different lies that we've identified. They've actually accepted responsibility for the first 4 of them, because that's the 6-month period where they went out screaming from their house and they said, someone killed our parents. I'm going to get them. I'm going to torture them. Who would do this? That was Erik Menendez the night of the murders. And for the next 6 months, they lied and said that basically they weren't the ones that did it. It was the mafia who did it. Eventually, they admit to those lies, but they've not admitted to the self-defense lie and all the suborning of perjury and attempted suborning of perjury for all their friends. We said that we gave them a pathway. We said, here are the lies that you have never acknowledged in 30-plus years. If you can do it unequivocally and sincerely and basically fully accept responsibility for your actions, then those new insights should be considered by the court in deciding whether or not you constitute an unreasonable risk of danger to society. And the district attorney's office will also reconsider its position when and if the Menendez brothers finally, after 30 years, come clean.
From the evidence you've seen, do you believe the brothers killed their parents, Jose and Kitty, because they wanted to gain access to their multi-million-dollar inheritance, or because, as the brothers claim, to this day, they were being molested by their father?
The brothers never claimed that they killed their parents because of the sexual molestation. In fact, I read to the entire media quotes from the actual trial testimony of Erik and Lyle Menendez, where they said explicitly it was not the sexual abuse that led to them killing their parents, is because they feared their parents were going to kill them that night. Self-defense. And with respect to that argument, again, we have proven repeatedly through all the premeditation, the willfulness, the deliberate actions they took, like having a pre-planned alibi, like buying shotguns under fake IDs 2 days before, like going ahead and staging the entire killing like a mafia gangland killing, and then strategically and systematically disposing of the evidence right after the crime, that this was not self-defense. It has nothing to do with the sexual abuse. This was never self-defense.
DA Hochman, that's important. So excuse me for interrupting you, but I do want to make this point, because this was a major part of sort of the move to get them out, really kind of popping up over the last couple of years. You think the sexual assault, if it did or if it didn't happen, it doesn't matter to you because it's not important in them getting released. Is that what you're trying to say?
What I'm trying to say is not only does it not matter to me, but Leslie Abramson, their attorney back in 1993, said that sexual abuse would never be a justification to kill the abusers. It never was and never will be. Those are her words. Erik and Lyle Menendez also testified that it wasn't the sexual abuse that led them to murder and shotgun their parents. It was their fear, supposedly, that their parents were going to kill them, and that's their father and their mother, that night, that led them to kill them first. So again, the self-defense is the key part of their defense. It always was.
The
what we're
Menendez
saying is they
family,
have not shown those insights into that issue.
The Menendez family today released a statement. I'm sure you're aware. They essentially said you're holding Erik and Lyle and the family hostage. What do you say to that?
What I said is I'm doing my job. We went through tens of thousands of pages of trial transcripts, prison records, hundreds of hours of videotaped testimony. I spoke to the Menendez family members for over 3 hours. I spoke to law enforcement, prosecutors, and the defense counsel. Our job is to apply the facts to the law dealing with resentencing, and we're doing nothing more than what Governor Newsom did with Sirhan Sirhan, the killer of Senator Robert F. Kennedy back in 1978. He looked at all the positive factors for Sirhan Sirhan. He's 77 years old. He'd been in jail for 54 years. He was 24 years old when he committed the crime and had no criminal history. He did very successful rehabilitation in prison. Yet he said because Sirhan Sirhan never exhibited insights into the full breadth of his crimes, that he constituted an unreasonable risk of danger to society. So too have we made the legal point and the factual point that if and until the Menendez brothers exhibit that full insight into the full range of their criminal conduct and finally admit after 30 years that it wasn't self-defense, that they got their friends to lie repeatedly on their behalf, if and when they do that, then in the future, the judge should reconsider or consider their resentencing, and the DA's office will as well.
You know, this case obviously has gotten a lot of attention, DA. What do you say to the critics, your critics, who say you're doing this more to show the voters or the people of Southern California that you are tough on crime, you're not going to be a pushover, versus whether Erik and Lyle deserve to be released from prison?
I would say that the politics are basically irrelevant here. I've taken the legal position, militated by the facts themselves. I've laid it out in technicolor detail, over 87 pages, after spending literally months and hundreds of hours going through the evidence. What I would encourage anyone to do is look at the filing, make their own determination, because ultimately the judge will make the determination in this. So it has nothing to do with tough on crime. In fact, I've laid out the pathway for the Menendez brothers to actually follow, that if they unequivocally and sincerely, finally, after 30 years, come clean with the full range of their conduct, that the DA's office would reconsider its request to withdraw the resentencing motion, and the court should as well.
DA Hochman, we thank you so much for joining Top Story. We thank you for your time tonight.
Thank you very much as well.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app, or follow us on social media.